we go. Hello. Hi, everybody. Let me just pull up the chat here. Can you guys hear me okay? I don't know why I'm looking kind of dark. Can you guys hear me? Oh, good. Hi, so who's here? I know this is a special end of the year call. This is normally for premium app subscribers, but we've opened this up for everyone. So if anybody's here for the first time, if you want to pop on and say hi, if this is your first time on the webinar and where you're calling from. And here's my friend Barry. You're muted.
There we go. Hi.
Yeah. Hi, Barry.
How are we?
We are fabulous. The chat is flying. People are calling in where they're calling in from, which is everywhere around the world. And I asked who's here for the first time, because I know this is a special call we've opened up to everybody for today, for our end of the year call. We got from South Africa to Brooklyn to Sweden to North Carolina to the Netherlands. Yeah, first time. Hi. Yeah, look at how fast.
The world.
Yeah.
How are you, Michelle? How are you getting ready for Christmas? How are things?
It's good.
Stressed.
I think fine. We're fine. Good. Nothing to worry about here.
All under control.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All under control.
Well, I got my Christmas jumper on. I'm ready.
I see. Very fancy. I wore red. That's close. So sorry.
Just great to be here. It's really nice that we've opened up the webinar as well to non-subscribers to the app for this one, just to give people a feeling of what these webinars are like. And it's nice to do it at end of year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What's the plan, Michelle? We talked about going over some big points, wasn't it?
Yeah. So there was a daily dare that Aida had written, I'm assuming, because she's written like 80% of them and I wrote like a few. That was anxiety 11 top tips for recovery. And I had written a little blurb about that daily dare a year or two ago. And it kind of highlights everything. It addresses almost every question that came in here on, like, we have four of these that came in. A lot of questions, but really this post highlights the main areas of dare. And I thought this would be good because for people who want to know a little more information about this approach, it'll sum up how to treat anxiety, how dare works, and we'll probably answer big groups of questions at once. And as we go through each of these sections, I'd love for people in the chat, I mean, we have over 100 people already, to type along in the chat as what we're saying, right? If you find this is your part or this is your thing, join along with us. And maybe if we can figure it out, we'll bring one of you in to chat live with us.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. If we might try and bring somebody on live if you'd like to. Just bearing in mind that we're recording this, so you would be recorded and we might post to YouTube at some stage later. But if you're happy with that, then we could definitely invite one or two people in. That'd be fun.
Yeah, only join if you don't mind if the rest of the world hears everything you're going to say. No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go through each section and then we'll chat about them for a while. And then all my chatters and, all the guests that are here, chat along too, see if this is something that's relevant for you. So here are, again, top 11 tips for recovery. Number 1, there's nothing wrong with your brain. This is about behavior, habits, and reinforcement. You aren't inherently broken, and you don't need to learn how to cope with this terrible disease for the rest of your life. If you are trying to get rid of something, your body is designed to give you extra energy and awareness to focus on whatever you are trying to get rid of.
Good. So that's number 1. Nothing wrong with your brain. Will we discuss each one as we go along, or do you want to read them all out?
Yeah. Let's take each. It's up to you, but I'd say let's take each one in chunks and just address it, because that's probably a good chunk of my phone calls of like, here's this thing, right? You guys always see me bring this little black blurby thing out. Here's this. What do I do about this? And we think what happens with anxiety is we get stuck on this constant mission to find what's wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me if I feel this. So if I could just get rid of what's wrong with me, I'll feel better. Who relates to this on the chat? I feel like I'm broken. I feel like this. Yeah.
So when I was dealing with anxiety, my big fear was that something was wrong with my brain, like literally with the chemistry of my brain, and that I'd be stuck like that forever. And I think, as you mentioned, Michelle, that's the big thing that comes up for people is there something kind of neurological here that I won't be able to fix through maybe self-help or through my own efforts, and I'll be stuck like this forever. So it's a massive fear for people. But the great news is that anxiety is incredibly treatable, and it's not something wrong with your brain. It's more about behavior. It's more about how you're responding to unusual thoughts, unusual sensations and feelings. And when that really settles in and you believe it, you start to allow your system to relax a little bit, because you're not putting yourself under so much tension and pressure of fearing that you're going mad, going to get locked up, or that it'll spiral and get worse and worse and worse. So panic attacks will get worse, general anxiety will get worse, DP, DR, everything will get worse and worse.
Right. Right. And then with the whole cope with this the rest of my life, that's where all the coping techniques come in, where it's flooded on Instagram and all the wellness sites on how to do. Every time I feel anxious, I have to do 40 different rituals. And did you try this? Did you try this? And I know that comes up sometimes because, but you guys have meditations on the app, but you have these things on the app too. We do, but not designed to use as weapons to get rid of everything, any information we're sending. And if you're getting it the wrong way, maybe it's been, maybe I just haven't said it clearly enough, but it's to teach you how to let go of the fight of, not how to get rid of the feeling of, and not how to do something to hang on and survive through until this feeling's gone and then I can let go. Right? Who's been stuck? What are all the coping things everybody's done? Every time I feel anxious, I have to do, they pull out your bag of tricks and you do 10 million different things to do something about the feeling or to get through the feeling. Yeah. Breathing, that's always one. Rescue spray, oils, yeah. So all of those things inherently aren't bad to do. They all have their place. But again, if DARE is not a coping tool. It's really not. DARE is to teach you how to drop all that stuff, how to kind of get better at feeling badly, how to answer the door. Oh, how to answer the door. Sorry, I'm just reading the chats coming up here. They're going kind of fast.
And, staying on this point of nothing wrong with your brain, and you'll hear this time and time again, it's the art of learning to scare yourself less and less each day, because we tend to, if you're suffering from anxiety, overreact to thoughts and sensations. And if you can make a commitment to yourself today, even if you took nothing else from the call, but just deciding today that you're going to scare yourself just one little bit less over a thought that you have or a feeling that you have, and play around with that and see how brave you could be. Because DARE is about bravery. You are acting brave in the face of scary thoughts, scary feelings.
Right. And
it's through that bravery that we overcome anxiety. It's that courage, that bravery, rather than calming down, being relaxed. It's rather an act of bravery.
Right, because we get scared of being scared. Scared shows up because it senses danger. And then we turn, and when there's no danger, we turn inward and we fight scared. And then we get scared of being scared because we hook scared to, well, what if this becomes danger? What if I go crazy? What if I die? What if I get stuck forever? We create and imagine danger based on scared. And then we fight scared to prevent the bad thing from happening, which wasn't happening. Again, which just keeps you in doing loop. So yeah, scared of being scared.
Number two, Michelle.
Number two, thoughts are not. A lot of questions came in on thoughts, and it's always a hot topic. And we talked about them on the last webinar. Thoughts are not dangerous. You don't get to pick which spontaneous thoughts pop up in your brain. Nobody does. You do get to notice them. Honestly, that's all you get to do. Notice them. You may notice you don't like some of them. You get to notice that too. The one thing you can do about your thoughts is to practice observing them when they pop up, watch them pass by, give them a nod, and continue about your day.
Yep. Thoughts are not dangerous, because I'll go back to my own experience with anxiety. I thought a thought could, in a sense, kill me. You know, if I thought about a heart attack, it might actually give me a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if I thought I was going mad, that could actually lead to going mad. So I became very scared of thoughts like that would manifest. And you all know what that's like when you get scared of a thought. It's just, it ping pongs back and forth all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like we talk in the Dare book, you're pushing that inflatable balloon down in water and it just keeps popping up in your face just when you didn't want it to happen. So as you learn that idea, as that idea settles in, that thoughts are not dangerous, it's a much softer approach then. You just treat thoughts as content, random content, weird content, unusual content, but not dangerous.
Right. And another reason for people's fight of thoughts is like I had a few people say, I thought I was always in charge of the thoughts that showed up in my head. And I thought I only like had thoughts because I made the thoughts or I created the thoughts. Like I was like, I only thought about things because I decided to have those thoughts until again, a random spontaneous thought comes up, kill the cat or whatever. And it's where did it come from? Do I want this? And then like we start attaching random thoughts to with certain meanings, like it means something about me as a person, or it means like it means something in the future is going to happen. Like I've now like this magical thinking that if I think this or don't think this, I'm going to create this other situation. And we get, and again, it's not the spontaneous thought. The thoughts are not the problem. Okay. There's thoughts and there's thinking, right? I can have thoughts can go, are you interested in this? Are you interested in this? Here's a thought, flamingo, building, hamburger, like whatever. It's when we go, why would I think about a flamingo? I hate flamingos. And we become embattled with flamingo thoughts. I just can't get rid of these flamingo thoughts. Yeah. You don't need to get rid of flamingo thoughts. Just let them be. And that was I don't know if you guys saw my post from today. I posted an hour or two ago. It was make peace. What did I say? Make peace with your unpeaceful body. Right? Make peace with your unpeaceful mind. And that puts you the two pieces of like, here's my brain and here's how I treat my brain. Like, what am I battling here? Here's my body and here's how I'm treating my body. And so people who are battling with thoughts generally don't trust themselves to have thoughts they don't like because there's another meaning attached to them.
Yeah. And it could be so like a raging sea, you know, sometimes it's really rough and then it calms down and it goes through different phases. But if you're just the observer of that, rather than feeling like it has a specific meaning in your life or specific impact.
Right.
People who suffer from OCD then get into the trap of thinking that if they control their behavior or thoughts, that they can control the manifestation of the anxiety in some way. So you might have acting out behavior, like I've got to flick every time I think that I should flick the lights off 10 times, or some kind of obsessive behavior that they feel gives them control again. Whereas what they really need to be learning is detachment from the content and not obsessing and worrying about what it means or signifies.
Right. Plus those thoughts, most people aren't attending to thoughts for the sake of the thoughts, but mostly because of how I feel when I have those thoughts. So it usually, those type of thoughts, those ego dystonic thoughts, somebody sent in a question about that. They come with this feeling of distress or disgust or feeling horrified or feeling like even just like unsettled. And if I could just do something about this thought, I could do something about this feeling. And so you might have a thought that makes you laugh and your body feels one way. You can have a sexy thought and your body does something totally different. If you're thinking a lot about danger all the time and all the terrible things that can happen, when your body senses danger, it sends you fear. And so again, it's the over involvement with thoughts. So instead, today, every time you have a thought, right, you notice the presence of a thought, this is how you treat thoughts. Oh, I just noticed I'm having a thought about blank right now. Yep, there's the thought. It's already there. It's already there. So my fight doesn't make it not there, right? My over involvement makes me see it more, but the fact that it's there, and this is where I make peace with my thoughts. My brain can come up with anything it wants, and I get to say, wow, good one, brain. Oh, that's super creative. Huh. Yeah, I see that. Good thought. But hey, little anxiety guy who's showing me things that it thinks is danger. Ooh, that one, I don't like that, but it's not danger. We don't have to like them. That's another sticky point. You don't have to like them to leave them alone.
Let's have a look at that guy again, Michelle. Give him a proper airing. Yeah, nice.
He does make noise too, I think.
You don't have flamingos there, do you? In the
No, but I
background?
have a blue guy. These are the ones Aida got, and then I went and stole her idea. Now I have them too.
What you got for number 3?
Number 3, trust in your body. It's designed to stay alive for as long as possible without us really getting too involved in it. It fluctuates. Allow it. It's not your job to consciously keep yourself alive all day long just because you find a sensation you don't like. Uncomfortable sensations aren't dangerous just because you feel fear attached to them.
Yeah, trust in your body. It's a big, big one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When your heart is pounding, tight chest, to be able to trust that you're not going to pass out, that you're not going to have a heart attack, that as uncomfortable as it gets, you can absolutely handle it. And that trust does take time to build back in, because anxiety shatters your self-confidence
Mm-hmm.
and your body's ability to deal with the stress. I think there's always this underlying fear that you can handle so much, but no more. You know, you can handle maybe an 8 or 9, but what if it hits 10 out of 10
Right.
with
Yeah.
the anxiety scale, and then you explode or go mad or act irrational? And this is where you learn to trust in your body again. But I think you can only really truly have that trust by putting yourself in anxious situations and seeing how much you can actually tolerate,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. And letting your body do whatever it's doing while it's already doing it, right? And so this is for my people who are monitoring their blood pressure that we're not told to monitor their blood pressure, or checking their pulse or their Apple Watches, or like constant monitoring. Like, who here does spending their whole day monitoring their body, just waiting to have a heart attack all day long, waiting for a stroke, staring at everything that reminds them of the worst case scenario? Somebody wrote, you're calling me out with all these self-checks, right? Because then that's somebody who's basically waiting to die at any second. So you kind of have to choose. I can't be expecting to die at any second and also be like, that's weird. Why am I kind of anxious? Because the message you're sending to yourself is, holy crap, I'm about to die at any second. So of course this guy is going to send you survival energy if you're acting like, I need to survive. And so either keep surviving, but also know that you're not actually keeping yourself alive. You doing this, and I think most people logically know this, they're not checking their blood pressure to keep themselves alive. You're really doing this to attend to anxiety, right? Oh, if I could just get a good number. What number is it? Oh, okay, good. All right, that's a good number. It's fine. Reassurance works. That's why people do it, but it works for like 17 seconds until you're like, I didn't feel good again. Let's check this again. And what's this? Oh, it's a bad number? What do? Open heart surgery? No, I just keep checking and checking and checking and checking until I find the right thing to feel better. Over involvement in our bodies, and in
Yeah,
order
that's
to grow.
hyper vigilant, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, that
absolutely.
word pop up in the chat. And that hyper vigilance, when you're in that state of high sensitization and hyper vigilance, your phone vibrating in your pocket can be like a worry. It could be like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, what's that? Is that my muscle twitching? A cold breeze or draft might be, worry you, that's a new sensation you didn't have before. Or one of those, those little circle or blue things you see in your eyes when
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at
Mm-hmm.
bright lights, those, what do they call it, floaters?
Yeah, especially after I turn off this ring light after this webinar.
Yeah. But that could be another trigger again.
Oh
Am I going
yeah.
to find, or something weird is going on? Anything that's just slightly out of the norm, the everyday norm, can trigger worry And this is where you need to trust in your body and trust that you are safe.
Yeah. And know that a heightened state, again, magnifies things that are already there. It's kind of like if you have a sunburn and somebody touches you with a feather.
Mm.
Ow, right? The feathers, it's not the feather, it's the sensitivity of your skin. That's why the feather hurts. It's not because of the feather, right? And so same example, if you watch a scary movie and then you're home alone and it's dark and now you hear every creak in your house and you go, what was that? What was that? That's the robber. That's the murderer. It's because you're in a sensitized state that you're more aware of fluctuations. You're more aware of things that are happening. So you might not be feeling, this is hard to explain. You might not be feeling more sensations. You just might be feeling a magnified version of the same sensations. That's a weird thing to explain. Does that make sense to you guys? Because your alarm's job is to clearly show you stuff that it thinks might be a threat to see if you then treat the thing as a threat. And so again, you grow trust in something by taking your eyes off of it. And so you grow trust back in your body by starting to leave it alone and starting to let it fluctuate while scared might show up. Scared might show up to help you attend to your body, but when you stop attending to your body so much, you start growing trust back into it.
Even just saying that I trust my body or I trust my mind can be kind of a mantra or a practice you can get into every time you start falling into that trap of worrying about sensations.
Yeah.
What you got for number 4 there?
Number 4, stop fighting. Literally, that's dare. And I'm using literally the right way. Dare is teaching you how to notice something you don't like and leave it alone. Anxiety is not about your thoughts or your physical sensations or your feelings. Anxiety lives in the fight of them. Stop fighting. The goal is irrelevance. It's not about directly eliminating something. It's about letting go of whatever it is you are fighting to allow it to fade away.
So you can see the theme, and it connects to all the points we've talked about. It's this philosophy of non-resistance and acceptance of, rather than fighting against. And you all probably know how good you are at fighting the thoughts and the sensations, and it hasn't really gotten you anywhere. It's probably why you're on this webinar, because of that resistance you're putting in, the fighting. Fighting is good for management. You can kind of manage anxiety to a certain degree by fighting it. Some days are good, some days are bad, but you're coping and managing but you're not really progressing. You're not getting a full recovery, which is what we're going for here. We're not going for that kind of half-assed management of anxiety. So the stop fighting piece it's hard to put down the weapons though, or drop that rope in a tug of war, because you feel if you drop that rope, you could be consumed by the anxiety. And that's where trust comes in again, though, to trust that if I stop fighting, I'll be okay. That this will dissipate. All of this buildup will dissipate if I truly stop fighting. And we always bring this point up. It's not stop fighting to make it go away. It's not like I'm not fighting it today. Now it should be gone. It should be gone. It should be gone.
Did it work? I stopped fighting, but it didn't work because it's still there. That is the majority of the themes of the calls. I try, dare, accept and allow, but I don't think it's either I'm not doing it right or it's not working. So I booked a call with you to see why, because it's not working because I still feel disconnected. Because you're still trying to not feel disconnected. Guys, I get it. It is so obnoxious. And it's a very backwards approach. But trying to get rid of something keeps you in getting rid of mode. And it keeps the thing you're trying to get rid of as relevant and important. And so I have a lot of people also to say, but how do I just stop fighting? And so we're like, okay, let's make this cool acronym DARE, which was supposed to be simple, right? Oh yeah, just notice what's there. If it's not dangerous, right? You diffuse your fight from it, you allow it, you can even get more of it, and you engage back in life. And everybody's like, hold on, I have to take copious notes. And we're using that as steps to do. And these are my doers trying to do themselves into being mode. And it's really like, how about use the word discontinue fight? rather than try to allow. How about notice the fight that you're in and just kind of like discontinue what you're already doing. That's how you stop doing. It's weird. It's weird to describe that part.
Yeah. Yeah, because it is an attitude or philosophy more than specific steps you do in order to get better. But when you adopt that attitude of non-resistance, you settle into the discomfort of it, but you trust that the discomfort will eventually dissipate. God knows when, could be tomorrow or could be 6 months from now, but you just trust in that process of it winding down. And every time you stop fighting and accept, your nervous system is cooling off. You mightn't feel it, but it is cooling down. And all that heated energy of fear and anxiety is dissipating. All that buildup of energy is dissipating. But that's a trust process because it doesn't happen overnight. And you have to just trust you're on the right course.
Yeah. And your fight doesn't speed it up. And again, if with my very good doers, you've usually been like rewarded for working really hard or being really tough and strong and get through it and fight and study hard and beat this and take 5 classes instead of 4 classes so you can graduate early. These are my doers, and you've probably found success with doing doable things. This sort of thing, for whatever reason, there were a bunch of questions that came in about setbacks. The anxiety may have whooshed back up again, but what determines the length of your setback is the length of your fight. It's the amount of how much time you're clinging and hanging on and checking to see if it's gone. If you're involved in what am I doing wrong? Why is it back? Googling again, forums again, right? Over, and here comes this thing. That's not actually the setback. This is the return of anxiety or the return of discomfort or I feel weird again. And it's my returned involvement that keeps us locked in. Okay. I wanted to mention setbacks too, because setbacks came up a bunch of times. So if your fight returns, that's why it's almost like your body sends you energy to fight. And as long as you keep fighting, you're telling your body to keep you in a heightened state. You will never fight yourself out of this. You will not. You will not. You will not do yourself out of this. When your body senses safety by you going back about life, you kind of show your body you're safe, and then you give it permission so that it's allowed to calm back down.
No, it's a good reminder. You'll never fight your way out of anxiety. Yeah.
All right.
But there is a way out. It's just paradoxical.
Yes.
Number 5.
And that kind of goes in pretty good with number 5, because number 5 is, again, because all my good doers, I feel like I need to do something. Great. Number 5, get excited. You are in an excited state anyway. That word got cut off. Allow your body to be in whatever state it's already in. And so that's the kill switch a dare, right? The R.
Yeah, absolutely. The run towards part, because it flips fear into excitement. And they're very similar for the nervous system, fear and excitement. It's really just how you are responding to the heightened state. So are you attaching fear to this heightened state or excitement? So it's that roller coaster. One person's got their arms up in the air and they're loving it. And the other person's holding on to their dear life and they're having a panic attack. Can you be the person on the roller coaster who is having all of the sensations, everything, but just going with it, all the dips up and down? And it takes trust to let your hands go like that and to really trust that it's going to be okay. But that is moving into an excited state. And it's the fastest way out of a panic attack. Get excited, demand more, bring it on, make it worse, because you're flipping fear into excitement and you're aroused anyway. And you cannot flip out of an aroused state. No matter how many deep breaths you take, it's going to take a while for it to calm down. So if you're excited, stay excited, but turn it into a positive energy and use it. So if you're doing a presentation, use the excitement in your expression. Be very present, be very alive. Whatever situation, even if you're driving the car, you can be in an excited state as you drive, or when the plane takes off. Instead of looking for safety and calmness as that plane is hurtling through the air, you say, no, this is really exciting. We're flying in the air. Wow. Isn't this something? And then that flips you into that state where you're moving with rather than resisting or moving against.
Yeah, it's the same energy. If you had like electrodes all over your body and you saw like on the screen over there of what your body's doing, it's going to look the same whether you were scared or excited. And so it's how I experience, like the words I use, the story I'm telling you about it. Somebody's saying, oh, okay, I'm excited about Christmas instead of scared of Christmas. Well, there's a good chance your story about Christmas sucks. Your story about whatever it is stinks. Because if the story is, oh yeah, this is going to be so awful. I'm going to die of an aneurysm. This is so terrible. I'm going to go crazy. Oh, your story, your body's going to kind of like put it down the fear track instead of the excited track, because now you're bracing yourself for danger. So again, your body's up, be up. Just be up with it. It's already there. And so just go be up. We're trying to, it's okay, I accept and allow, but I haven't calmed down. See, that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they're trying to say all the right words to still control this. You really don't, guys. You don't control this. This is a self-regulating system, which means it regulates itself when it sees it's safe to do so. And when you are no longer in fight mode, then your body will calm itself back down. It is an indirect process.
Good stuff.
Hey,
Get excited. That was number 5. Number 6.
Allow it. Oh, kind of ties in with exactly what we just said. Allow it to be there. Because guess what? Whether you like it or not, the unspoken line of dare, right? Whether you like it or not, it's already there. So give it a nod, a shrug, and take it with you. It's not about whether it's there or not. It's about what you are fighting.
So yeah, it reiterates what we've been saying through the previous points. I would say to people who are listening to this, what is it you don't get? Like, ask yourself, what is it about this that you don't understand? Because the understanding piece is generally simple enough. It's the implementing it is maybe where people get tripped up. So what's holding you back from really allowing, really accepting? Ask yourself that question, because that'll help you go deeper with it. Like, is it that you're just afraid that allowing it will make it worse? Is that a fear that you have? Or that you know, if you bring on a panic attack, if you ask for more, that it will get much worse and you won't be able to handle it? Like, try and dig down and find out why you're possibly not adopting this attitude or philosophy of acting courageously in front of, or when anxiety presents itself.
Yeah. And see, that's the majority. Allowing it will make it worse. What if I allow it, I make it worse? What if I run towards and what if, and here's a common thing, what if me hanging on and anxiety was the one thing that was keeping me from going crazy? And that this, like me fighting, was actually preventing psychosis or was preventing me from dying. And if I let go, and what if this is all a bunch of bullshit and I do go crazy and then it's permanent and there's no going back, which is another story we tell ourselves that keeps us locked in the fight. Who's had this story in their head before? What if my fight is what's actually keeping me from the danger? Ooh, look at that chat go.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So you guys see, even just knowing that you're not alone in this, and I know a lot of these people on this call, I know a lot of these names. These are just plain old regular people. There's not people like, you know, we think like I'm on the verge of going absolutely bonkers and there's something desperately wrong with me. This is where my doers get stuck, trying to kind of pre-do to prevent bad things from happening. I don't want to go crazy. I don't like that thought. Take a look through the comments and see how many times have you said, but I hate this, but this is the worst. Or you just write a sound like grr or egg, or like hate it all you want. There's amount of dislike and there's amount of fight. Those are two different things. I don't particularly like my giant forehead. That's why we're stuck with the bangs, people. But you know what? There's no me fighting and staring at it and talking about it and going on large forehead forums isn't going to help it, right? Now you're all looking at my forehead, right? And so it's all about just saying, yeah, this is what's happening right here. And it's the letting go. Here's the thing I don't like. And here's my doing something about the thing I don't like. You get to just not like it. And this is how you make peace with the things you don't find pleasant.
Yeah, because there's nothing fun about anxiety. There's nothing to like, really. It's terrifying. Panic attacks are terrifying. Depersonalization is, um, OCD, all of the irrational, intrusive thoughts. It's horrible, but it's such a waste of your potential and energy and time, isn't it? It's
Mm-hmm.
just so many years get tied up in these loops. And wouldn't it be great to just make a decision for yourself today to decide to step out of those loops, even just for 1 hour a day, where you say, okay, 1 hour a day, I'm going to really give this a go. Like really go all in for 1 hour. Then for the rest of the day, you can go back to resisting and fighting and all of those coping mechanisms you've done. But just try for 1 hour a day of solidly 100% complete acceptance, completely stepping into the discomfort and not scaring yourself over it.
Yeah. So I was going to say something, but I'm doing pretty good. So I'm going to try and keep it PG. So we'll just keep going on to the next one.
Yeah, you have, Michelle. No curse words, nothing.
Right?
What's
Maybe
going on?
one or two, but
It's
not
Christmas.
bad. It is Christmas.
What you got
uh,
for numbers? Are we a 7?
Number 7,
Mm-hmm.
keep going. The more you practice engaging in life without fighting yourself through it, the more quickly you make progress. Super important. This is an introspective problem. Spending more time here with your eyeballs in, checking to see, did it work? How are my thoughts? Let's read more books and let's stay home and let's isolate and let's just stay here where all I have to pay attention to is myself. Only find you more stuff you don't like. So one of my posts a couple weeks ago was I wrote I wrote dare and I had the E pointing back to the DAR. And my post was the ego's out. We tend to go, we tend to have DARs, which are, yeah, it's fine, diffuse, accept and allow, yeah, run towards. But then we stay here continuing to look at the thing and we stay internally engaged.
Right.
And that's not the point of any of this. The point of all of this is to
Yeah.
leave shit alone. So I did it.
Oh, you did
Leave
it.
it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. And because really, but isn't that distracting? Isn't going about my day distracting? Not really. Anxiety is distracting you from life. 20 hours a day staring at this guy is running the show, and this guy is a
Get him up there.
distraction from
Let's
your
have a look
life.
at him. Bring him up there. There he is.
It's like, I got look at me. Look at me all day long. Here's some more energy to keep looking at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And if you stay looking at him, that's all you're going to see. Bring him with you and go eyeballs out. What else is going on out here? And get involved. Your brain still might go back and forth, but get involved in life, involved in people, involved socially. We're social creatures.
Well, that's where everyone wants to be. You want to be in life, not caught up in your head, ruminating, scaring yourself to death. You want to be, when you're having a conversation, you want to be focused on the person and interested in what they're saying, not thinking about, I'm going to have to leave this conversation. Maybe I can't handle it staying here. Or like recovery, a real good sign of recovery is when you go a day and then 2 days of being in life again, not in your head, not worrying about what might happen or what sensation might pop up. And then you go a week and then a couple of weeks, and then you have a setback and you feel like you're back at stage 1 again and throw everything out the window, nothing works. But then you try again and you go another couple of days, a week, a month, couple of months. And then you become that person who looks back and goes, did I really worry about those things as much as I did? Like, was I really so caught up in it? It feels like a different person then. That's you back to yourself again before anxiety was ever an issue.
Yeah.
So it's so important to be in life and forgetting about dare, not thinking about steps, just in life.
Yeah.
And if anxiety appears or comes up, you have the tools now. You have a toolkit, a roadmap to follow to get you out of any setback.
Right. Use dare as like a mindset, like a daring mindset, right? Of like, here's this thing I don't like. And whatever elicits that feeling of like kind of going loose, but confident at the same time of it's okay to have thoughts I don't like. Oh, thanks, anxiety. Anxiety is, it's safe to feel scared. And when you start acting safe to feel scared, right? You start acting safe and continuing on with life, right? when here comes anxiety and I go revert back to, now I have to go back and attend to this again and fix this problem. Nope. That's the stuck part. The part that keeps you going is keep going. And now in the beginning, you may notice, yeah, I'm going about my day, but I'm so like half stuck in my head, half trying to have a conversation. I go back and forth. Fine. That's how it is in the beginning. All right. Back and forth. Go through the motions, at least in the beginning, to get out and back. It's easier. I have an easier job when people are already hooked to things that they can get themselves involved in, because then you might accidentally become immersed in a conversation. Right. And then you notice it'll happen, like progress will happen as a look back, where like what Barry was describing happens and you notice it after it happens. It's weird. It doesn't happen as a goal. It happens as, and I just spent the last 2 hours, totally forgot to check my vibrating body. Oh, let's check in. Oh, yep, there it is. And we go find it again. If that's happening to you, don't look at that as that's actually signs of progress.
Yeah. Recovery sneaks up on you a bit like anxiety does, and it's only and it's only a few days or a few weeks in that you kind of realize you're doing good. And then the problem is the setback comes along and shatters all that confidence. And that's really important, that people don't get thrown by those setbacks. And we talk about that a lot, and it's in the book a lot as well. You know, the process of moving through the setback to build the confidence back up and keep applying the tools.
Yeah, I have a video on setbacks on the Dare YouTube channel too. Like, it's a picture of me in a green shirt with like these blue curves. If you're dealing with setbacks, you can take a look at that one. It's here comes the return of anxiety. And now you kind of have two paths. I can choose to fight and do the old habits, or I can kind of let it go. And then it'll settle down more quickly when you get uninvolved from it.
Mm. And I just saw someone ask, why do setbacks happen? Lots of different reasons. I mean, sometimes it can be things going on in your body. It can be life. But also I see it sometimes as a leveling up. So it's like you've kind of dealt with it over here in these areas, you know, with certain sensations and thoughts, but then something else pops up over here. Like Michelle, you call it the whack-a-mole problem. You've whacked it down here, then it's up over here. And it's really just like leveling up. You've got to now prove that you're not afraid of these thoughts, these new thoughts or these new sensations. And you level up and you level up and you level up. You know, you build that confidence that regardless of what you're feeling or what you're thinking, you can handle it.
Right. And sometimes this guy just kind of remembers an old thing that you used to treat as danger. So if you go in the elevator, like you used to be scared of elevators, and then everything's fine. And then 3 years later, he's like, oh God, wait a minute. Wait, she used to do something here. Oh, she used to fight here. Whoosh. And now he sends you fear for elevators again. Now, depending on whether you use that fear to fight through that elevator or not, will determine if he keeps sending you fear the next time, or if he's like, oh, wait, no, she didn't use it. Okay. And so then it'll dissipate much more quickly when you don't use the energy you get rushed with.
Give us number 8, Michelle.
Number 8, drop shame, anger, and guilt. They are all subtle ways to continue fighting, but 9 times out of 10, we are using those things to fight ourselves. Beat ourselves up for something we did or didn't do, or judge ourselves for not doing something the right way. And then I wrote, let that shit go.
You wrote it, you didn't say it. Yeah.
That's right. I'm just reading.
Gosh, the shame, the guilt, the beating yourself up, it's all part of it, really. Like it's hard not to beat yourself up for having anxiety. I know as a man dealing with anxiety, my issue was feeling weak, vulnerable. Everyone else seemed to be fine. And men are meant to be able to deal with fear, you know, in kind of with that masculine energy of being brave and courageous and not being afraid. So it's normal that you would get, you'd feel shame about it. I remember dealing with lots of fathers who struggled bringing their sons to, or their kids to events, you know, like football matches and all those kind of outdoor activities, or go camping or go on holidays, and the amount of shame that came with that they had to stay at home, you know, that they couldn't explore the world together. So yeah, the problem with shame is that it compounds the problem. It keeps the tension there, the frustration, the anger, and that's all a type of tension, and it's not that acceptance that we're talking about. It's a type of resistance as well.
Yeah. And shame is usually tied into the story you tell. Like the story, well, men shouldn't, and here comes the shoulds, right? There's usually a whole lot of shoulds. We call it shoulding all over yourself, right? So I talk to a lot of other therapists of, I'm like an imposter.
Oh yeah.
How can I be dealing with an anxiety disorder? I'm supposed to be helping other people. Like here comes shame. How can I be a good parent to my kids? Or now my kids have anxiety. It's my fault. And we just keep cranking it on, and all the like self-deprecation, and like that's not necessarily all that beating yourself up and speaking poorly about yourself. That's not necessarily part of an anxiety disorder, but it's certainly not a piece that helps. It's a piece that like I've just developed a habit of speaking shitty to myself, right? Over
Yeah.
time. And we
Yeah.
think like, if I can just somehow speak this way to myself, I'm going to make some sort of change. But I mean, read any psychology book. Punishment is the least effective form of treatment, means of change. Okay. So you beating yourself up for doing it the wrong way doesn't really help the process. I think on one of the webinars before I said, it's like learning how to ride your bike and just throwing rocks in front of your own bike. Like you're beating yourself up for the progress that you're making. And so just don't throw the rocks. Stop throwing the rocks. It's an extra layer of pressure and of torture that we give to ourselves for not doing it just right.
Yeah. It's just about giving yourself a break, even just for the recovery period. Give yourself a break. You know, you can go back to hating yourself after you're recovered if you want.
Yeah. Later.
Yeah. But just on the shame piece, though, and the guilt, we should bring in intrusive thoughts, because people have intrusive thoughts that shock and horrify them and fill them with shame. And it can be to do with sexuality, religion, anything, any taboos. Violence that you might commit acts of violence, you might freak out in a way. All of that stuff creates a lot of shame, and it's important to just highlight it, that it's just normal part of an anxiety disorder. All of that intrusive, weird content. Don't see it as you, as part of your real self. Just see it as the content of an overactive mind and a heightened nervous system. You know, it's the imagination. Like anxious people tend to be very creative. And if you're very creative and you mix that with high anxiety, you get some weird thoughts.
Yeah.
You know?
Very true. All right. Number 9, keep it simple. Don't over dare it. Stop trying to figure out the whys or what's wrong with you. The problem lies in the search for the problem, the fight of the problem. That's the problem. Again, that's another weird sort of like Eckhart Tolle meets Dr. Seuss sort of line there, but like desperately trying to figure out what's wrong is what's wrong. Desperately trying to get rid of something, it's the getting rid of that's the problem. And what I tell so many people that call me, it's because like we're trying to fix something that's not broken. It might be unpleasant or uncomfortable, but it's not broken. But when you treat yourself as broken, well, then there's something that must be fixed, and fix it mode just never ends, because we'll always find some form of discomfort or some thought we don't like. We were never meant to eliminate thoughts or rid ourselves of human discomfort, but I'm here to help fight, drop this piece. This is here's this stuff. This stuff may still come and fluctuate and come and go, which will tie into the next step. You might have fluctuating bodies depending on stressors or diet or environment or stuff going on. This is the disorder piece. This is fluctuating levels of anxiety. This is the disorder, is my disordered relationship with anxiety when I lock in and I treat fear as danger.
Yeah. And on this point, Michelle, as well, people fall into a trap very often of looking or not feeling that they have the full picture to recovery. So they're going to look for other books, other courses, other teachers, other ways, other methods. And if you want to look, keep looking, keep searching for stuff if you like it, if you enjoy it. But just really understand that the solution is in this attitude that we're talking about. We're really telling you everything that's involved here in this process. And if you still have an urge to keep trying supplements or finding some magic pill that'll just get rid of it, question that as well, though. Just challenge that, as in, is that the right course for you, or are you just afraid of really turning to face the thing that you're afraid of? You know, are you looking for a way to banish the fear instead of turning to face it, which is this hero's journey that we talk about? And it's scary and it's hard, but maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe you do want the magic pill to just get rid of all the feelings that that you're dealing with right now. So just be honest with yourself about that piece, you know, about the searching piece for the magic pill. And just quickly on medication, because I see it pop up there. So what about medication? We're not anti-medication at all. I think medication can be a helpful part of getting you back to life, getting you living again. Just make sure you've got some kind of toolkit, some mental roadmap to work with your course of medication that you're doing with your doctor, so that you have confidence, real confidence in yourself.
Right. Medication doesn't change behavior. Medication will help you feel better. Fine. Right. Especially in the beginning, especially when you're still getting with DARE, right? If you're constantly at an 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 9, it's hard to put the tools, this approach into place. And so some people take medication and it might bring your levels down. And DARE is all about how I treat these levels, how I treat how I feel. So using conjunction, it's great. It's like me, again, I've used this example a lot. It's like me teaching you, if I'm teaching you how to swim, I'm teaching you how to swim in a pool instead of the ocean, but I'm still teaching you how to swim. Right. And so when it's rather than viewed as there's something chemically wrong with my brain and I'm altered forever, and this, I must take medication for the rest of my life, because that was the old story. And if somebody is still selling you that story, find somebody who might start telling a different story, because that was the old school approach, and that's what was sold hard. It's not the story anymore, guys.
Yeah. You know, a lot of the audios in the app are free. There's a load of content there. If you're not a subscriber, you'll still get so much great value in the app from all the free audios there. You'll get a really good sense of the whole philosophy. If you're still feeling like you need more, get the subscription to the app. It's, you know, we go deeper with the daily dares, the evening wind downs, all of that, and these webinars. Again, it'll help you immerse yourself in this attitude and this philosophy. But if you find yourself going, I've just got to read other books and more things and more things and more webinars and more and different approaches, and just because,
did you try worksheets? Did you try this? Did you try this? Did you try this? That's the mindset of elimination.
So just be aware of that. It's important to just kind of, with your own self, to be aware of that and be honest with yourself about, you know, what internal kind of dialogue you're having about your recovery journey. All right, what we got next?
All right, 2 more. The next one, we're going to keep it really simple. Super simple, because this is what everybody goes down the rabbit hole on. Number 10, avoid unnecessary, unhealthy things we put into our body and do things that are good for it. That's it. Again, like Barry was saying, people get stuck on number 10 as if I can just find, is it keto? Is it Atkins? Is it this? Let's try this. Let's try, is it gluten? Is it this? Is it ashwagandha root? Is it nose breathing? Is it, and we get so stuck on like, now I can't go into the grocery store until I've stretched my vagus nerve and dropped my pelvis and taken vitamin B and do like, that's overall wellness for the sake of overall wellness. I've had people who are drinking like 5 Red Bulls a day and they're like, why am I so jittery? I'm like, just drinking 5 Red Bulls a day. Not particularly healthy. So you're going to be like actually chemically adding to your heightened state. That's just right. So use number 10 though as an overall wellness approach. Eat well, eat less sugar, exercise, drink water in a gentle sort of wellness way, because we tend to take that to the nth degree.
But underlying all of that is this attitude, this mental attitude to stop scaring yourself so much. That's the powerful part that'll really transform what's going on in your body in terms of the way you're reacting to all that nervous arousal. But the wellness piece, yeah, absolutely. You know, meditation, exercise, eating well, all that stuff helps your body to settle down, to stop being so sensitized, and it's good for you, you know?
Yeah.
Better.
And just to address that, because they're on my post, a lot of people were saying, well, why would I get the year app, the year subscription, or the lifetime subscription for Dare if this is the more I get involved in anxiety, right? The goal is to become less involved in it because it's full of healthy habits. Daily Dare, right? It's full of meditations to use for an overall wellness approach. So once you change your relationship with anxiety, you can use all the tools here again as tools for overall wellness forever, not to spend your life like regulating and maintaining and coping and must always listen to the Dare page, or else we should, once you kind of get out of the disordered relationship with anxiety, it's really would be used more as a, like, again, as like, oh, I exercise all the time because it's good for me, and these meditations I find super helpful before I go to work. That,
and we do, yeah, we do need reminders as well to stay on the right course, you know, like, because it's easy, you know, we all know, like joining the gym or trying to go on a diet, when you have people supporting and reminding you of that, it makes you maybe accountable and keeps you on track, keeps you from falling off the wagon.
Yeah. And number 11.
Wow, that's the last one.
We did it, yeah. Be patient, allow time to pass. Settling down is not an active process. The pond settles itself down. Dust settles itself down. Your body settles itself down. Give time. And we have to get Tracy on the call, because that's the line that she always said. One of our old members who was always on every call said, you have to give time. Like, okay, I did it. Is it gone? Did it work? Right? It's like creating habits without expectations. It's one of those things that, like, you have to let some time pass. If you want to forget, like, it's like the process of forgetting. Forgetting happens with uninvolvement and time. Right? Unimportance, uninvolvement, and time. And that's how you forget. You don't do something directly to forget about something. That's what prevents forgetting. And so involve yourself in life and let time pass while you're involved in life, whether anxiety shows up or not. Let some time pass. We tend to be pretty impatient people.
With Michelle, we promised we'd get someone on the call, didn't we? Does anyone want to join?
We could figure that out. Do you know how to do that? Anybody want to talk to us? Who's there? Peter, me? Okay, now listen. There's some way that you guys have to do it first. I think do you know?
And remember, you're being recorded, so you might be on YouTube, right?
And a podcast. And the app has like 1 million downloads. So I'm just saying. Do you know how to do this, Barry?
No.
Oh, pressure.
You're in charge, Michelle.
Oh, do we not sometime live? Oh, we can go live on Facebook and live on YouTube on these webinars. Barry.
There's a lot of people who've asked to be in, Michelle. Now I don't know how we're going to pick one.
I'm looking here. Something on the participants in no, that's an invite.
Yeah,
Peter, I see you there. Do you know how to? No, cameras don't come on this. It doesn't let you come on camera, but it lets you come in on audio where you can chat. There wasn't an option for on the bottom. It has a raise hand. I don't know. Do you have the same screen I do? I think.
Yeah.
Are you pressing all the buttons?
So.
Invite. No, this
is
just to invite. So that's just to invite.
Oh, sorry. I see. Send chat to. On the bottom.
Always tricky. It was tricky. When I did it with Aida. I don't. Oh wait, invite. Hold on. Wait. I think it's up where you see the. Invite. No. Sorry, guys. I don't see this here. Allow attendees to raise hands. Oh, hold on. Allow panelists to start video. Oh no, wait, we're the panelists. Attendee view. So on the top right, do you see like panelists and attendees and invite, mute all in the 3 dots? In the 3 dots, I believe. I don't, oh, we lost Barry, guys. Sorry. Disconnected. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't know if it's an option on this one. Maybe because it was set for everyone to join in, we had to sorry guys. And either I kicked off Barry or he kicked himself off. There's a good chance I probably kicked him off. But click on them individually to invite. Oh, okay. All right, Peter, where are you? Let's see if I can invite you here. All right, let's try this. Thanks for all the tech support, guys. All right, where are you? Hey, Peter. Nope. It's not, I don't even have an option here. Nope. Sorry, guys. Well, we'll try it on the next call. Let me see what happened to Barry, if he just somehow disappeared or maybe his computer died. No, I don't see. Yeah, so I guess I can't seem to bring anybody in. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, actually, hold on. Oh, I found it, but we lost Barry. Okay, Peter, here we are. I think you're in. Unmute yourself, Peter.
Hello.
Peter, you're in.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. I kicked off Barry, but I brought you in. So
Oh well.
hi.
Yeah. Lovely to speak to you.
It's nice to speak to you too. I've seen you popping in on some of the chat.
I know, and I know I've been quite neurotic. So I'm so desperate to get well, if you like, which is probably part of the problem.
Oh,
Hi,
here's Barry.
nice
Oh, I
to meet
got
you,
everybody
Barry, as
in.
well.
Well, I got Peter in, Barry.
I'm back.
So
Great. Hey, Peter.
what's really confusing for me, and this is very quick. A year and a half ago, I gave myself tinnitus. Went on Google, scared myself to death. Was worried about work. Built up this massive issue about going back to work. Got massive anxiety. I've gone back to work. All the things I feared have not come true. The tinnitus has got to the point where it's a bit annoying, as you can imagine, but not outrageously annoying. But I keep tripping out. I basically had a period of getting really poorly, and then I got up one day, went to work, and had 5 glorious days where there's no anxiety at all.
Really?
Anything. And then I come back, I worry about tinnitus a little bit, and I'm right back. You know, back at not going to the shop, which is the end of my road. I work 300 miles away. So when it flips, and going to work and being able to deal with people and work with my whole brain was just so wonderful. And to come back and be back at ground zero, a bit of depression's coming in now, because people start saying, "Are you bipolar?" and start throwing all this other stuff in, and it's like I still think it's obsessive thinking and anxiety. Really, I just keep thinking myself back into the holes. I don't know if you would.
And why do you think it changed, Peter? What do you think changed?
I think what changed was when I'm at work, it's slightly noisy, so I don't hear my ears as much, and I go down there and I get praise and pat on the head from my boss, who thinks what I does is great, which helps my mood. I keep busy, and then that was for like a period of about nearly the whole 5 weeks, and then I came back because it's Christmas time, and I come home, the house is quieter, I hear tinnitus more. I come out with statements like I've ruined my whole future because I'm never going to have quiet again. I'd bought into Julian Cowan Hill a bit that it would quieten down in time, and I don't think it will. What happens is you just become less bothered by it. But I was trying to wonder whether, because it by nature makes you anxiety, because it automatically fires your amygdala without you even thinking anything. Did I have a chance with your methodology of overcoming that? But I guess the last 5 weeks tells me I have, or can.
Yeah.
But then when it goes from this last episode, I had an awful day, and the next day I got up in the middle of the night, drove to work. And within 24 hours, I've gone from groveling in bed to have a big meeting with my boss and feeling absolutely fine. And then coming back for a few weeks, and then a couple of days of ruminating about tinnitus, and then I'm back at square one again.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. I understand. Sounds like your body's doing weirdly exactly what you're telling it to do, not on purpose. It's usually well intended, but look, here's the return. And that's why it's never about this leaving and going away. It's nice when this particular thing is not here. It's like, oh my God, it's gone. Right. But that's not the goal with this, because then our recovery is only based on if I feel okay or if I feel awful. And if I feel awful, oh my gosh, it's back. So I want to listen back to the recording, to how you described, like, I was going to work and it was fine. And then I noticed it came back. And what was the next thing you said? Your story was, oh my God, it's back and it's going to ruin my life. It's going to ruin the rest of my life.
Well,
So
the tinnitus, whatever happens is the tinnitus isn't going to go. And what I used to do is I always spent my life being very busy and achieving great things in my world, and then relaxing and enjoying them. Whereas now I feel like even when I get better, my win is still having the booby prize of listening to the buzzing in my ears. But then I've got a friend up the road who's got to a stage where he's so bored of it. He said, I really can give a crap anymore.
Yes. You have to harness your inner leaf shit alone. Okay. You may hear buzzing. I hear buzzing in my ears sometimes. Right. And so you might also have sensations that other people might be booking calls from you on, but you don't give two craps about them. Right. Like, what's something that you don't really care about that you might hear many people talk about and you're like, who cares about that?
I mean, the thing I guess was because I damaged my hearing myself. I was obsessed with old cars, and I built an old car, got the exhaust wrong, and definitely ruined my hearing in a day, an hour and a half. In a minute and a half.
Yeah.
And I feel like I put my whole family at risk. I blame myself, and I've now had a year and a half of just about crawling through life.
Yeah.
And you could see how the way you think about it is getting you depressed. You know, you spiral down into that negative thing of, my life is ruined, or I've ruined it for others. And that you could easily see then how you go into a setback, particularly after going a spell of it being good and thinking, God, maybe things are looking up, and then suddenly it's back, or it's worse than ever. And it's all about the way you're thinking about it, though. And I hear with a lot of people, with tinnitus, that people say once they get to the point where it's just like cricket noise in the background, and those cricket noises will always be there, that they really learn to accept its presence without getting depressed or upset or frustrated by it. And it's tough though, because
have I got a load more of that? Because I'm lucky that most of the time I cannot hear it. So
well, that's great.
Yeah. But now look what you did when it came back. When it came back after 5 days, you then treated it like the most important guy in the room. This guy showed up. He's like, I'm back here.
Ironically, it was not so much it being hit. It was a thought of it getting a lot worse. Because obviously with hearing damage, if I can make the hearing damage worse, it could potentially, the wonderful what if, it could be almost impossible to deal with. But that I can't live my life in case it does what if, because hasn't. But what the problem with it is for me is I'm aware of the process of there, and I'm doing quite well with it. It's just when I'm in the bad area of it, I'm not able to function properly, and I need to function properly to keep my job. Because that was the other hypothesis I came up. If I can't function, I lose my job. We live in the skip. We lose our house. Lose my home. What do you mean
function properly? Because now you're telling, this story, and I'm going to tell another story because of this story. And now we go from, my ears are ringing. And then we create this shit storm of a story that, my ears are ringing. Oh my gosh, what if my ears are ringing and I'm not functional? I have to be able to function. I have to get to work. Well, if I don't work, I lose my house, and then my partner leaves me. And then I'm never going to see my kids. And oh my God, I'm going to be a box on the street. And I'm so depressed. Oh, what's the point of life?
But those very thoughts, ironically, those very thoughts make it hard for me to do my job.
Of course they do, because you've now there's A and there's triple Z. Now you're taking tinnitus means my life is over. And based on that storytelling process, as opposed to, my ear's ringing right now. Yup. See, the disordered piece, there's people that have tinnitus that don't have an anxiety disorder. Their ears ring, and they just sort of leave it. You're probably a very good
my friend got it after having a liver transplant, and to her the sound means she's still alive, so she has a positive association to hers.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's what I'm trying to get to with mine, that if I cannot ruin everything and get well, it just means it's a sign that it reminds me of getting well rather than. But the problem is
and your fears, your fears of losing your job, family problems, all of that is the same. Everyone with an anxiety issue fears, that their panic attacks will prevent them from going to work, or that their intrusive thoughts will get in the way of being able to concentrate at their particular tasks they have to do at work. It's all the same fear of what if. And it's so important to catch those what ifs and not spiral down with them. You know, diffuse those what ifs is the first step of dare. As it manifests, diffuse them, make light of them. Don't feed them so much energy, because you that's what you've been doing, and you see it's getting you nowhere.
Yeah.
You can't fight off your imagination. When anything that's a what if is your imagination of the future. So since the future's not here, your future is in your imagined there. And the story you've told about your here is some awful version of an imagined future. And so the message your alarm gets is, every time tinnitus is here, this is the sign that it's going to turn to something bad. So better fight here to prevent there. Better do, and that's why you probably stayed home and ruminated for hours when it came back up, to try and prevent it from getting worse, when all it did was keep you more involved in it.
No, I think what it does is the thoughts of it then set off my limbic system, which makes me naturally anxious, and then it makes day-to-day stuff more tricky again. So that's the trigger that fires into the loop that then sets my inability to do things. My body's naturally anxious. So the things I was doing the day before, which was easy, I'm doing with a bear trying to eat me. And that's the bit I'm confused by. And then people start saying, well, you keep going from these two states. Are you bipolar? And then that makes me even more fearful, because I don't want to get embroiled in a load of drugs again. Instantly, I did try Prozac, and that ruined me. It just made me sedated, but didn't sedate my mind, so I couldn't actually do anything. It's made me far worse. So I'm worried now that is what I've got bipolar, or does it just sound like classic anxiety to you guys?
Sounds like another what if to me. Right? Most of
Yeah,
not getting diagnoses out over the webinar, but like, this is when I'm in a heightened state, everything feels scary. Funny how your bipolar went away when you weren't anxious. And now I'm anxious and I'm questioning a what if. It's another version of a what if. Yeah, I suppose it's great having people on, because it's nice. It puts like words into action of like somebody actually, like, sometimes we're not aware of our own what ifs. We're like so involved in the content of the what ifs, as opposed to, oh, yep, here's me having another idea that's formed as a what if thought. And now how do I treat what if thoughts? I'm now spent my time over involved in that thought. The rumination is behavior. Rumination is the sticky part. That's the part that's getting you stuck in your story. Because why else would you be ruminating about, if you were like, oh my gosh, what if tinnitus means I have a giant orgasm every time my ear rings? You'd be like, buzz, buzz, baby, right?
You're my kind of lady.
Right? Like, you're attaching it to a worst case scenario. If every time you had tinnitus, the government sent you $1,000 for every minute you had tinnitus, right? Yeah. You'd be like, bring it. And so that's why this really is not the problem. This is not talking about tinnitus, Googling about tinnitus, writing about tinnitus, checking for tinnitus is not the problem. The problematic piece is my story about it, how I treat it, my fight of it. I'm okay when it's gone. I'm not okay when it's here. And like, just replace ear ringing with dizzy, with disconnected, with heart palpitations. It's like a messed up infomercial. Like, it doesn't matter what this turns into. If you keep doing this every time this shows up, this is not the problem. This is.
I guess what I hate about the two states are so unpredictable, and like I can go from like 2 weeks ago, I think I'll plan a holiday, and then now, and I get when I flip myself over, I don't feel like I can do, and that's what I find really hard. To plan for, like, big meetings. I'm going to give some presentations in London, and when I've agreed to them, it's easy, and like now it's going to be a case of going around with big anxiety.
Yeah,
but what concern I've been about this for quite a long while. I mean, what do I need to do to make the progress that yourself and Barry have made?
You're going to bring anxiety with you to this meeting. So it's easy to do things when it's easy, and it's not as easy to do things when it feels hard, but you're going to keep doing the things, but like in a gentle sort of way, right? Like, if you had a headache and you had a meeting, it won't feel as good or as light to have a meeting with a headache, but it's this deeper, like, trust in yourself that I can have a meeting with a headache. I can feel anxious, and scared isn't danger. Like Barry was saying before, I can take this energy and make it useful for me. I can I can go on vacation with ringing ears. It's legal. Whatever country you're going to, it's legal.
I did notice in the 5 weeks when I was fine that I was very much living between the dawn and dusk again. And I'd say I'm going to do a thing in London, but I won't be thinking about, will I be anxious about going to a thing in London in 6 months' time? I was I was planning for the future, but I was living in the dawn today. As the saying says, you're only given the dawn and it's taken away at dusk, isn't it? That's all we've got.
I think you know what you're meant to do, Peter. I think it's more about deciding to really turn it into a habit. You know, you know what you've been doing wrong, and then you know when you're kind of doing it right, how things go. And also being aware not to get caught up in those setbacks when they come along, like not to fall into that depression, not to allow yourself to ruminate too much about all the negative things it might mean. But and this applies to everybody listening, because I think your example applies to all forms of anxiety manifesting, because the way you're describing the resistance and how it has upset you is really relatable. But it's like, can you make a new contract with yourself today going forward to change the way you've been responding to this? And it's a habit that you have to build and work upon. You don't flip a switch, but you know, you need to kind of commit to that path and then see where it carries you. And as you get more and more great days, and you'll go, wow, this is really the right approach, and setbacks won't upset you as much.
Yeah, and view those setbacks as a sign of progress, because I remember you in the beginning, and it was all day, what do I do? And now 5 weeks, 5 weeks you said, or 5 days?
5 weeks, I was fine.
Hello, is this the same Peter? So see, like we like 5 weeks, I'm like, I feel pretty good. So this is
and then I started thinking about the future, and then I just came apart again.
Yeah, think about the future all you want.
But the thing that going from really bad to really good was over in hours. It wasn't like I didn't have to start to face all my fears again. I suddenly went from being perfectly me overnight, and then within a couple of days of ruminating, I'm back to the not okay me. And that's the bit I'm finding confusing, because I'm not building on anything. I'm either in one state or the other, if you see what I mean.
Well, ruminating is now ruminating is the problem, not the return of the ear ringing. It's the, wow, and I notice my face hurts, and I notice the more I keep punching my face, the more it hurts. Oh my gosh, yeah, stop punching your face, right? And so the rumination is me keeping myself stuck in the thing that popped up that I don't like. And so this is the part I get to change. This is where, okay, I have to just say it because it's the end of the call, and earmuffs for whoever doesn't want to hear it, but it's, you got to find your fuck it. Fuck it. Okay, well, here it is. Me staring at it in bed isn't changing it. So if my involvement doesn't change it, I have to say fuck it and let it be. And just get up and go on vacation and bring it with you. And when your head goes off into the future, even if your alarm rings here to do something about the future, your response is, nothing to do. Nothing to do. And so I'm going to come back and stay here. Like you said, you only live. Somebody wrote hooray at last, Michelle. It's hard, guys. It was hard. But like,
you went a whole hour, Michelle. Well done.
Well, I'm terrible for swearing.
Thank you.
I haven't let one out. I normally let the F word out.
So find yours. Find your fuck it. And fuck it is the essence of dare. Really. It's like, well, what do I do? Ruminating is I have to figure this out. And what's wrong with you, Peter? And now you're back to square one. And now you're going to fuck it. Fuck it, let's go.
It's interesting why a swear word like that works. Is because it talks to a different part of your brain. Like even when you say it or think it, it's more emotive. It's not so much the logical part. It talks almost directly to the amygdala, that anxious part of your brain. Something releases, and you just kind of puts you in a bit of a state of flow.
I can tell where I am. I mean, one thing Karen Hill got right about tinnitus is like a healthometer in many ways, because when I'm feeling well, I'm like, it's just a bit of a twat.
Yeah, you can fight it or fuck it.
And then when I'm poorly or not feeling great, it's my death sentence.
Right. Well, it's your old habit that we use dramatic words to describe, right?
Agreed.
So
I don't feel
that stuff too.
Like that. Yeah, absolutely right. I didn't mean it like that, but that's depending on what state I'm in. But
well, Peter, I hope this has been helpful, and I think Michelle finishing on that's a great finale.
Fireworks. Sorry, guys, I had to.
So, do either of you do private consultants, or is it just, or not anymore?
Michelle does.
I do. Aida she put her calls on hold. She'll be starting back up in January, I think. but
Yeah.
I
So
do as well. I'm actually, I think I'm booked the rest of this week till January. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm right. You can find it on the website.
yeah,
You
it's
can
your
also
response.
you can also find a bunch of our other programs on the. So yeah, I forgot I'm talking to people who don't even know Dare.
I mean, I pay for the app anyway.
Okay, yeah. So for people who don't know about Dare the app, so like these webinars we offer twice a month as for all of our premium subscribers. And so it's all this additional content. There's no secret message behind the $10, guys. It's still the same message, but it's kind of just, different ways of reinforcing this overall mindset. We have now my little section that's Dare in Action. We have the daily dares. It's just more content to try to help people get this message of learning how to let go.
I mean, I have to say, it's particularly what's the word I'm looking for? And this is positive. I'll talk to other people that are listening that the Dare app is very, very good. And it's amazing how inversely proportional it is to how much the people doing it care, to how much money they try and grab out of you. And for what you guys try and you know the one I'm looking for, compared to the person that wants $5,000 and they can fix you in an hour and a half. Who's the disingenuous one? I promise you, people on this thing, these two people really mean what they're trying to do for you.
Oh, thanks, Peter.
Oh,
And I think
Peter.
they're right. And I love it with Michelle. And she sort of says, if you're looking up anxiety more than she is, you're doing something fucking wrong.
Yeah. You shouldn't be reading or writing or talking about anxiety.
And that's what tips me
more
off.
Than I do.
I get bored and I start looking on forums.
And we try and create a sense of community and almost family of these people going through this journey together, because that's what you need. You need people rooting for you, because oftentimes you don't have anyone around to talk to about these things. And when you connect with other people who are dealing with the same things, everyone is so normal in these groups. Like there's no weirdos, there's no crazies. It's all just normal people dealing with abnormal feelings.
Yeah, we save those for the family members, our own family members and our own friends. And it's never the Dare people. The Dare people are more normal than half of my family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Happy Christmas, everyone.
Sorry, one more thing I want to add. We also have, if you like this webinar, right? This is part of the app. If you like the idea of more like help with implementation of all of this, we have what's called Dare Advance, which you can also find on the website, which is kind of like our version of a monthly coaching program. Instead of $10 a month, it's like $30 a month, something like that. But it includes, see how Peter's on with us, but it's kind of like one large Zoom call that you can pop in on video. We usually offer 5 group calls a month, and you can pick 3 to join in live. I run 2 of them. Barry runs 1 of them. Aida runs 2, and it includes the app. If you sign up for Dare Advance, you can discontinue your subscription through the Play Store. And yeah, it's all about implementation of this. You can find that on the website too. So just want to say, like, we have extra things. Doesn't mean you need anything, but some people want different versions of support, and so we have all different things out there for you.
Okay. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for being on the call. Thanks, Peter, for sharing your story. I think that helps people for sure. It's great to hear that from a different voice. Happy Christmas, everyone. Have a great one, and Happy New Year.
Bye, everybody. We will see you all in 2023.
2023. Wow. Take care.
Take care, everyone. Bye. Bye.